right, y'all. I'm going in to see what the doctor says. Let's see if little Miss Journey has rearranged herself. Let's see. I'm good.
Baby's still fine?
Baby's still fine.
Okay.
Hoping that she moved.
What?
Well, not move, period, but move down. I guess I'll be really
a
bad.
lot more pressure?
Not necessarily, but I mean, I feel her moving, but not necessarily more pressure.
Yeah, but sometimes with your forefoot, she doesn't drop like they do.
When I was here before, she was transverse.
You can look at the ultrasound, though. Really? Mm-hmm. We can do an ultrasound. We can look. Linda, do they do an ultrasound?
Yeah, I came in last week, and I mean, you could feel that she was this way last week. The spinning baby videos and stuff like that. So.
She don't feel transverse to you still, do she?
She doesn't feel like that now, but I haven't really been able to feel where she is. I mean, I know she's in there, but it's been hard to figure out where she is now. Before it was obvious because it was like a hard spot here and a hard spot here.
Yeah, she feels like down to me. We can take a peek, okay?
Okay.
Here, you can sit up for me. Here, let's go to mom. Let me check to make sure.
I tried on my own last time and I regretted it. Thank you.
Let me see if it's open and I'll be right back.
Okay, cool. All right. Thank you. ECV.
You don't want to have a C-section.
Right. So I don't want a C-section. So if I had to do the ECV over that, I do that. But if I could have it, you know, none of it.
Do it herself.
Yeah.
She's just being difficult. Here, bring your pants like right past your hips for me. Yeah, she sat down.
Yay.
Yeah. Nice pig.
Now, what are the chances of her like flipping back? Is that
Usually they don't. But,
Okay.
I mean, I can't.
not that?
Usually they're settled down at 36 weeks in too. I mean, I don't know what she's thinking about. But I mean, definitely her spine is down. She's head down, definitely. She's head down. I thought she felt head down. I thought I put that because I looked here. She's head down, definitely.
That's where I felt the kick once I got set up in the other room.
All right, you can see that. Oh wait, let's get something from your belly. So she is head down.
Yes.
So neither, no ECV or C-section.
Thank you, Jesus.
Get yourself.
All right.
We'll see
So
you
I
back
just-
every week.
Okay.
Okay, every week now, okay? So you had the baby.
So I had the baby.
Yes. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, you too. I can't talk. I'm gonna wait to talk when I get in the car because I'm out of breath right now. Okay, so if you could not tell, my baby has moved into the head down position, which is what I have been attempting to accomplish over the last few days. Just a quick recap, I went to the doctor last Thursday, I think it was, for my 36, well, it was really 36 and a half week checkup. And at that time, the doctor told me that my daughter, I'm having a girl, that she was in the transverse position, which is sideways, like that. And so she's like, you know, you need to, if she doesn't drop, then we're probably going to have to do an ECV where they manually maneuver the baby. She said I was a good candidate for her, although she did say it was a 50% success rate. Otherwise, if she didn't turn, then now we're talking possible C-section, which I didn't want. Now, I have seen a lot of women, I'm in a lot of mom groups, and I've seen a lot of moms say that their baby has turned on his or her own by the time that they got closer to, you know, 39 weeks, 40 week mark. My doctor was a little bit, not concerned, but mindful of the fact that all of my other kids I had about a week early. And so she said if you were to start birthing while the baby was in a transverse position, that could become dangerous. Like you would have to come in for an emergency C-section. So I'm like, I'm not claiming none of that. I've heard about spinning babies. I've heard about women turning their babies. I took a hypno babies class, and in my support group, I've seen many of them talk about spinning their babies into the right position. So I was like, I'm gonna figure this out. I asked my doctor, I was like, are there things I could do at home to help her to get in position? And she's like, I mean, you can exercise, but not really. And I was like, you know what? I'm not even claiming that. So I took my little behind home, did some research, and just started doing what I saw through the Spinning Babies class and what other women were doing. And you guys saw those videos. So went in today, as you can see, and when she checked me with her hands and with the heart monitor, she said, no, I mean, I think she's down, you know, down here. Do you want to do another ultrasound? And I'm like, yes, I do, please. So when they did the ultrasound, her head is down. And she's like, you saw it on the monitor? I'm like, yeah, I see her. She's down. So now I don't have to think about the ECV.
as long as she don't turn back, but that's, highly unlikely, but you never know. And at least for these purposes, I don't have to think about a C-section. So for me, this was a great, great, great victory. And I'm sorry, I'm out of breath. I'm excited. But this has also been a big testimony for me, because during this time of being, cooped up through COVID, which I'm sure everybody kind of has their own story, their own testimony of something, hopefully. One of the things that has become very clear to me is that there are components of me that I have allowed to get in my way of my true, unfiltered, uncontrolled, uncarry-led faith. And it has presented itself to me in a lot of different ways, through my marriage, through how I interact with my kids, through my association with money, through this pregnancy, just through everyday situations, right? And I was listening to one of Joe's friends, he and his wife, and forgive me, Mike Barrows and his wife, I hate that her name escapes me right now, but they do a prayer, they do like a prayer service every Sunday, where, they'll pray for you and they just go in. So Joe and I watched it last week, and one of the things that she said, I hate that I cannot remember your name. Charge it to my head, not my heart. She said, what was sitting on her as of late was that she realized she was kind of blocking her true blessings from God. She was blocking all that she was to receive. And she said, so imagine there's a clear pitcher, like a pouring pitcher, and you're pouring you're pouring water into it, but in the middle of it you have a piece of material, or like a piece of plastic that is stopped right in the middle. So while there's still space from the piece of plastic to the top for you to fill it up with water, there's a component at the bottom that you're not able to get water to. And she said what she realized she had been doing was that she was the plastic, or the piece of material that was preventing God from pouring all of what he wanted to pour into her. She was still getting some of it, half of it, but she wasn't getting all of it because she was not relinquishing her control. And I'm like, man, that hits me really hard, because I didn't realize how much control I attempt to have over my life. And it's you really, one would think like, well, you should have control over your life, because if you don't have control over your life, then it's out of control. But not to the extent where you feel like you're really the one who is spearheading the direction of your life. And then I listened to an old clip that Kiki Wyatt, an old clip of Kiki Wyatt. She's singing when she was pregnant with her most recent child, her 10th baby. That girl gave me strength every time. I'm like, she did 10, I could do 4. So Kiki, after she was singing, you could tell she was singing from a space, she was singing from she was really singing from her testimony. So at the end, she starts to tell her testimony. She's like, y'all don't know my story. She said, she started telling her story about her son who had cancer, was like dying from cancer. And she just kept asking God, like, why, God? Like, why not me? I would trade, I would do anything to trade spaces with my son. Why are you taking him through this process? And she said that he was like, because he needs to be able to know me for himself, which I thought that was powerful in and of itself, right? But then she said that he was like, and you need to start putting me first. You've been putting your kids before me. And I was like, ooh, that one was, I don't know why that one hit in a weird way, because at first I'm like, God, how could you say? But then I'm like, he's the creator of everything. You know what I mean? And I get that. I get that. Especially a mom's love. Like, ain't nothing coming between us and our kids. You know what I'm saying? There's already a struggle with figuring out how to make your man before make your husband be more important than you. You know, not more important, but come before your kids. But yeah, so she said that God was like, you put your kids before me, and I need you to get down on your knees, and you need to remember who I am. And so for me, a lot of my most recent part of my journey has been getting out of my own way, following not my intuition, not following what I think I should do but then I don't do, but following what's put on me that I know he wants me to do, and then attaching what I know to do to that, as opposed to me deciding how I'm supposed to move and working God's way into my plan. So I say all that to say that, you know, with this process for me with my baby being transverse, and this is not to minimize the stuff that many, as women who are pregnant, we all go through so many different things, and there's more extreme cases and situations than others. So trust and believe, even if I had to have an ECV, even if I had to have a C-section, there is still a lot of blessing in those situations than what other women have had to go through. So this is, I'm not negating any of that. I know that the fact that I have a healthy baby inside of me in and of itself is a huge blessing. But for me, for this to have been the situation, it was very real for me. I never experienced that before. C-section was never brought, like I've had 3 other kids. That just was not that wasn't my experience, right? So this coming to me, it took me somewhere. I got scared. I got really scared. And I remembered what Kiki said, and I remembered what Mike Barrow's wife said, and I remembered that God had already said, listen, there's gonna be, you keep telling me, you're showing me little by little that you are not only willing, but you are taking the steps to put me and what I want for you first. And I need you to understand that that's not always going to be an easy thing to do. It's not always going to be easy to trust me and have faith in me, because I'm not going to be able to give you the guarantee, signed, sealed, and delivered as you would like to have it, to know everything is going to work out how you want it. So be prepared. You might not be ready, but be prepared for what you are going to have to encounter to show me, 1, that you really do have the faith you say, and 2, to actually walk in to the blessings that I have for you. So for me with this was another one of those tests. You know, again, I have the doctor saying, no, there's nothing you could do to change the positioning, And I have, I have her saying, well, a ECV is better than a C-section, and I have my own negative thoughts coming into my head. So I'm battling all these things, and there's no guarantee, right? So I said, I'm gonna hold on to what you're telling me, God. I'm gonna hold on, and I'm just gonna follow. I'm gonna follow you. And not only am I gonna follow you, I'm gonna do it with a great spirit. I'm gonna do it believing it. I'm gonna do it unbegrudgingly. I'm gonna do it knowing what the outcome is gonna be. And to go in today, I mean, y'all might have heard me on the video. I'm like, my heart is beating fast. It was crazy. To go in today and for them to say that she turned. So many blessings in that. So thank you everybody who understood where I was coming from with asking for, well wishes and prayers and things of that nature. I really appreciate it. A few more weeks to go, and then I will birth my daughter. I'm praying for a fast, quick, easy, peaceful birthing process. And I'm just thankful. So that's the end of that particular testimony, and I'm sure that there'll be some more down the pipeline. So till next time, you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day, and I will see you soon. Bye. Joe, I went to the doctor. She looked at my stomach and she said, well, she feels like she's down here. So she said, do you want to do an ultrasound? I said, yes, I do.
Did you see it before?
So she did an ultrasound and she said, yeah, she's head down. She said, you see it? She said her back is right here. And she said it's nice size head right there, down where she needs to be.
I told you. I told you, Jay.
So no ECV and no C-section, at least not for that. So we're not claiming,
Right. Dynamite. All day, all night. All right. Yes, sir.
Do you have anything you want to say to the people?
To God be the glory.
Yes.
That's it. That's all I got to say about that.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say about that. Let's sell these houses.
Hey, what's Mike Barrow's wife's name? Shelly. Sorry, Shelly. Y'all, in the other video, I was talking about Shelly. All right.
What's that?
I gave the testimony about how hearing her talk about the picture and blocking. Yeah. So. All right. Well, I just wanted to share with you before I share. Well, I recorded it, but nobody knows. So I wanted to share it with you first.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, man. That's good.
All right.
That's what's up.
Yep. Guess what, though? All the things that mommy was doing. How come parents be like, mommy, daddy? All the things that I was doing on the couch and sitting on the exercise ball and stuff like that.
The baby turned around.
Yes, it worked. Her head is down. Down like Chinatown.
Y'all gonna be mad at me.
It's more exciting when we have the baby.
Well, I mean, I'm having the baby. What happened?